How's it going, everyone? Welcome into the Offseason, the podcast that keeps you entertained all offseason long as we get closer and closer to the disc golf season. We have a fun show tonight. We're going to be doing the Guess the Rating with putting videos per request. I didn't quite get enough junior submissions, so maybe we'll be able to do the junior edition in a few weeks if people want to keep sending those in. But we're going to kick it off with just a roller coaster of a story. So just buckle up here. This was submitted from Eric. He titled this story, "The Tree That Kept On." So here we go. The story starts on hole 8 at Munden Point in Virginia Beach. My buddy Andrew and I were throwing our tee shots onto the peninsula green, and Andrew proceeded to chuck his shot just into the water. It's important to know he was only carrying 3 discs that day because his next shot was a tomahawk, also straight into the water. 2 of the 3 discs gone. As we walked to the green, we noticed a man standing near the water. He offered to go in and get the disc, but we declined. He went in anyways. Khaki shorts and all. After a few minutes of searching, he pulls out a disc, right color, but wrong disc. He gave it to Andrew anyways. We thanked him and moved along. After playing hole 9, I asked Andrew if he wanted to throw a disc of mine that was similar to the one he lost. He threw it, and then I threw one. Now, keep in mind, we are walking between hole 9 and 10 at this point, and Andrew decided to throw his last disc that he brought. Ended up grip locking it way to the right. Yes, Brodie, we know you don't believe in grip locks. Ends up 40 feet into a giant pine tree. We walk over to the tree and did what we always do when discs get stuck in the tree. We chucked more discs at it. Bad idea. Before we knew it, we had 4 more discs stuck in the tree with the original disc. It was at this point we thought we should probably use a different strategy, so Andrew ran to his car and brought back 5 tennis balls and a beach volleyball. We start with the tennis balls, and yep, they got stuck too. Every few minutes, though, a tennis ball would randomly fall, so we were now dodging tennis balls. We decided to get the lowest disc down with the volleyball. Andrew was a former junior Olympic volleyball player, so he could put some stank on the ball. But he was no match for that tree because on the first throw, the tree ate that volleyball. It was now also stuck. Thankfully, we were able to knock it down with the tennis ball, and we kept at this for about 30 minutes, alternating between the volleyball getting stuck, chucking tennis balls at the stuck volleyball. We managed to get 2 of the discs down, but now 3 remained, and we have lost 4 tennis balls in the tree. We're now a good 50 minutes since we played hole 8, and who comes strolling along but our friendly neighborhood disc fisherman. He had a 5-foot hiking stick with him, and after observing our valiant fight against the tree, he launched his staff, hoping to dislodge a disc. You guessed it, the tree gobbled that thing up too. We managed to knock it down, and our disc fisher remarked, "Well, good luck with that," and quickly sauntered off. We should have cut our losses at this point, but it almost felt like we were playing a slot machine and we were completely addicted. So we decided it was time to pull out the big guns. Andrew took off for his car, but forgot to grab his keys. I picked him up and chucked him to him. Except I threw him a little too high, and you guessed it, the tree gobbled him up. I fell to the ground laughing hysterically at our plight. You just can't make this up. We got them down after a few throws. Andrew rummaged through his cars and came back with a football, a hammer, and a wrench. Andrew went 2 for 2 on his first 2 tosses with the football, leaving 3 discs and 4 tennis balls in the tree. However, on the next throw, the football, yep, you guessed it, got gobbled up by the tree. So naturally, we grab the hammer and try to get the football down. While doing this, one of us chucks another disc at the football, totally whiffs it, ends up in the next tree, 50 feet up in the air. Now we have a football, a hammer, 3 discs, and 4 tennis balls stuck in this tree. We grab the wrench to get the football down, which was successful, so we continue with the wrench. Next throw, you guessed it, tree gobbles it up. Now the stakes have been raised because we have a hammer and a wrench in the tree, so every throw up in the tree, we must duck and cover. Since we could see the hammer, we decided it was best to get that down next. We hit the hammer at the football, but it got caught on the next branch down. We eventually get the hammer down with the accuracy of Patrick Mahomes. I managed to get 2 more discs down. Andrew and I looked at each other and decided after 1.5 hours, it was time to cut our losses. So we left minus 1 disc, 4 tennis balls, and a wrench stuck in the tree. We have thus named this tree the Klepto Tree. Beware.
Dude, that sounded like a children's book by the end of it. The way you're,
yeah.
My gosh,
that's the next Dr. Seuss books. For sure.
Well, that's what it sounded like. I mean, that tree's a whole sporting goods store at this point. How does he how did you recall that well enough to write that all out?
I have no idea. I mean, I guess it'd be pretty simple.
Throwing the car keys.
The car keys is legendary.
That's devious. That's so funny. I've never really gotten to the point of like fetching objects out of the car to throw into a tree.
That's usually about safe space.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. No.
I might have more fun trying to get a disc out of a tree than playing disc golf.
It's a blast. It's a good time.
I might.
I
It's
do
a good
have a
time.
lot of fun trying to get a disc out of a tree. I was
But-
literally about to say there are definitely days
When it's
where
not
it
your
is
disc
more fun.
too, like when it's
Oh,
like
yeah,
when
like,
there's
you don't
no
care
real
what's up there.
pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's so fun to try to help someone else's disc get down. It's so
it
fun.
is a lot.
Rule
of
number
fun.
1 though is never throw another disc at it.
I do it anyways.
Unless it's like this sounds like one of those trees. I don't. I'd love to know what kind of tree it
He
was.
said
but
it was, I think.
It's a pine.
Did you
maybe
say
he
pine
didn't.
tree?
He said
Okay.
something pine. I
Because
thought.
there's this tree that like almost has like a cone.
Giant pine tree.
There's a tree that almost has like a cone at the top. Like, have you guys ever seen those it's not like a palm tree, but it's a type of palm tree where it has the palm fronds, but the top it's like a cylinder. And so if something gets stuck in that, like it's in, like you'd have to get like a drone or something to come in from top. You can't just like chuck at it.
That's the explanation for all the drones.
But yeah.
My
It's
thing
fun,
about,
man.
Yeah, my thing about throwing a second disc, it's all about how much of the bottom of the disc you can see. Because if it's like laying in there flat and you can just rip a hammer at it, then like that's pretty doable.
Well, it depends too how far up it is.
But I'm a very big fan of for sure. I'm a pretty big fan of the like just scavenge rocks from nearby and then
Water
just
bottles are a great time.
everybody throw from different directions and just duck.
I
I'm
love
anti-
chucking a big water bottle up there.
I'm anti the people that climb the tree.
Trevor's
Yeah,
a
I would
tree
never-
You're
climber.
I would
ruining
never
you're
do that.
ruining the fun for us.
I would
Trevor's
never
a
do
tree
that.
climber. He's a delayed tree climber though.
No, yeah. The only
lets you
time I
have some
climb a
fun
tree
first.
is if a disc is hopeless otherwise.
Yeah. He lets us have some fun first, then he'll climb a tree. And
I'm only
typically
getting up there after I've thrown quite a few shots.
I've only ever seen you climb for your discs, I'm pretty sure, which makes sense because that's when you're most
No, I got
incentivized.
somebody else's at Peaksview, like 40 feet up in the air. I don't know who that was, but
Was
I
it
went.
Mikey?
That was
Why
like
did
the
I think it was
highest I
Mikey?
ever went.
I think it was
whole,
Have you ever climbed a tree and
Was it
got up
hole
there and
18?
then
it was
know.
18. It was one of the trees in the wall. I was at the top,
I
and
feel
I had
it
to
was
like
Mikey
go
for
out.
some reason.
What?
I think it was Mikey for
It
some
was a
reason.
tag match.
Is it a tag match?
I was
don't
up
know.
there, and
Yeah.
that was when Brad threw a disc retriever, and the disc
The
retriever
disc
got
retriever
stuck.
got stuck. Yeah, it sounds like this story. So then we
Yeah,
had a
just
disc
hanging up
retriever,
there.
a
Some
Trevor, and a
trees-
disc stuck up
Listen, power rankings of most vicious trees in all of Lynchburg. The tree on the right part of hole 1 at Falling Creek, the
Yeah, that's up
short
there.
one, 100% success rate. If you throw into that thing, you're getting gobbled up.
there. There's nothing like I've ran so many tournaments at Falling Creek, and
Oh, it's the
there's
funniest thing
nothing
ever.
like the first round when like sometimes the pro and MA1 division will be a different course, and you'll have like MA3 or someone going off, and there's always someone. There's always one that goes into that tree. I purposely try, unless the course is full, I leave hole like 18 open behind hole 1 in those situations because I just know there's gonna be about 10 minutes spent trying to get a disc out of the tree at hole 1.
You could do what like Masters Cup did that one year where it's like certain holes have certain rules. So you could just say hole 1 2-meter rule.
Yeah, that's true.
And then the rest
get
of the
stuck in a
holes,
tree.
rest of the holes you don't
Jimmy
play
Earl
it.
sucks.
There used to be a lot more at Falling Creek, but after they limbed them up, it got a lot better. Because there was some on like hole 6 or 7 that were just notorious, but they got a lot better. So that's always a good time, though. There is nothing quite like the satisfaction of just puring a like lacrosse ball up and nailing a disc 30 feet up in the air.
Oh, you know, what was
best
the
object, lacrosse ball.
Lacrosse ball for sure.
The worst. I just thought of this. The worst trees, tree bush. I want to say because it was like one of those California trees that is basically just an extra large bush. So it only goes about maybe 7 or 8 feet off the ground. That's like the top of the tree. But from the have you guys ever played at Dynamic Disc? Have you guys ever played there?
I've played there once, yeah.
Have not.
Okay, so you played at Emporia, Hunter?
Yeah.
The bushes / trees on the right of hole 1.
Yep. Yeah.
Those things. Now just think about those being like extra. That's what this course at Goat Hill had on one hole. And I swore I was there for 3 hours trying to find my disc. I couldn't find it, couldn't locate it.
That's kind of like those the hedges on no, it's not, because you're talking about the trees at Emporia Country Club, not the hedges on one.
They're only like 5 or 6 feet off. Like I can almost jump and see the
Yeah.
whole top of them.
But you're not saying the like whole bush line on hole 1 of Emporia. You're saying the trees up closer to the basket.
No,
Like
it's
little
down the
bushy
right.
trees.
There's like 3 sections of them down the right-hand fairway.
Yeah.
But I remember too, the one thing that stands out to me is like you kind of get lost when you're like in these trees and you're trying to look for stuff. You kind of get lost. There was a freaking bird's nest in one of the trees, and it scared the living crap out of me because I'm like kind of climbing and poking my head above the trees to try to see like above it to see. And one time I did that and there was a bird's nest chilling and a bird flew and spooked the crap out of me. I go searching for like another 2 hours. And like at this point, I don't really know where I am and what trees I've seen. Freaking bird's nest again. Same one. Scares the crap out of me.
Dang.
Oh man. Yeah. I don't even think I ever found that disc.
You must have really cared about it. What was it? What was the disc?
It was like one of those like really good beat-in nukes that I was gonna throw on like 7 or 8 of the holes that tournament. And it was the final round final practice round before the tournament. So
you did good at Goat Hill, right?
Yeah, I think it was like top 5.
Yeah,
something like that.
So man, if you would have
don't say that too loud, Hunter. Don't say that too loud. People think I suck.
Sorry. If you would have got that disc, you might have won it. That was the difference.
No, Ricky was on a different level.
Oh, that's true. Ricky dominated that one.
Yeah, Ricky played really well.
Let's get into the guessing game. It's going to work the similar rules as before, but it just got a lot harder because now you're just going to see these people putt, and that's it.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to look at putting form, and that's all we got. So we'll play the video first, and then I'll walk you through who they are, where they're from, that stuff, and then
who's going first, so that way we know who can talk.
Trevor won last week. So Trevor, would you want to go first or second?
I'll go first.
All right, so Trevor will text me, and then once it's locked in, Brodie, you can run through it. So let's
you just tell me.
Hold on, let me full screen this.
Okay. Who are we looking at? All right, let's go in the background.
Oh, there's a lot of context here.
That's
pretty smooth.
There you go. So this is Alexander Grande from Norway. Member
I was going to say that. Look
21.
Look European.
33 career events, 2 career wins.
That's a pretty smooth putt. Trying to gather the context here.
I'm locked in.
Okay, Brodie's already locked in. Trevor, once you text me, we'll let Brodie walk us through his mindset.
The
putting's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, this is hard. I'm not really certain.
You also selected like
this.
a 15-footer.
I had
what are we doing here?
I had cues that the people sent me. All right, like, Trevor is locked in.
Sending like a tap-in putt. It's like, thanks so much for your information, sir.
Trevor's locked in. Brodie, walk us through.
All right, so a couple things to notice from the video. Are we going back to the video? All right, so a couple of things. First off, I can't tell if this guy in the front right here is like 60 or 30 or 20.
Yeah, I couldn't tell either.
So I can't tell like what division. Also, I think he does have like a sponsorship. This guy right here has like a sponsored jersey. I can almost tell more from him than the guy that's actually putting. So given that, also he's being filmed in a tournament standpoint. Who's doing that? He must be playing well. I would hope so, unless you're like some sort of like influencer person that you're trying to get people to watch you play tournaments. His putting stance is a little unique, but I would say there's confidence in the putt. So it's not like he's up there and it's like he's nervy with it. It is a little bit of an interesting one. That's why I would love to see what it looks like from like 30 feet, because I just don't think it's a putting stroke that can generate a whole lot of power the way he does it. But I'm going to go 950.
950 for Brodie. Y'all came in pretty close together.
Yeah.
I believe Trevor got 946.
Yeah. I think there's a chance we could be real low or real high.
It's European too, so that's also dark horse.
Yeah, I went right in the middle.
The ratings over there are a little bit different.
Are both off. He does play MPO, so that at least was decent. But he also plays a little MA3, which is probably
What?
closer to where his rating gets him at 914.
Okay. My
it's not
first
bad.
guess was going to be like 928, and then I thought I could get burnt.
Yeah. So okay,
Yeah.
y'all are both in it, neck and neck there. All right, let's go ahead
I
and get
couldn't tell if he was like 980 or 920.
I was also
So,
getting caught up on like the other guy.
yeah.
yeah, the other guy was
Oh,
throwing me up.
now
we're
Oh,
next one here.
garage putt.
Oh,
we get two of them?
All right,
There's
this
some
is
things to
Timothy
observe here.
Holmberg from Roanoke, Indiana.
Oh,
He's
that's
been a
over
member
here.
since 2023, 14 career events, 1 career win.
Oh,
Brodie will text me first here.
yeah.
I'll watch it one more time.
Hmm.
I don't know why, but it's like it's got me. I'm locked in on this number. I don't know why. It could be really
Brodie's feeling
bad.
a certain way.
Could be bad here. Could be bad. I'm looking at my old guesses too from last week.
All right, Brodie's locked in. Trevor, what do you got?
I'm getting vibes. I mean, it is a newer player. We know from the join date. I'm not seeing anything that says like super athlete here.
Wow.
And that's
Wow. Bag on, Trev.
Oh my gosh.
That's
guys, to be
brutal.
clear, I'm not a super athlete either. I'm just saying, like,
Wow.
Yeah, but like
Sometimes-
if you're dumb and you call someone else dumb, that's still like not nice. You
I
can't
didn't
just
say
well,
he's
I'm
unathletic,
dumb.
you guys. I said I'm not seeing super athlete. Because
We heard you. We heard you.
Because sometimes if you get a brand new player who's like clearly a freak athlete, you can get their rating can go up real quick.
What
But I'm
freak
just saying,
athletes
like,
are in disc
he's got a
golf?
confident putt, but it doesn't look like. I don't think this guy's like a killer. Like, I think he's probably solid for a brand new player. So
Okay.
I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna go 889.
Y'all are within one of each other.
You know the other thing too
How
that
are we doing that?
you know the other thing that's interesting. I didn't see any signs of kids in that garage, so he probably has a lot of time to practice.
Good point. That would have been a
You're
good
really
catch
going
up
deep
on.
on that one.
Well,
Yeah.
there's
well,
not like bicycles
You're right.
or anything
Since
like
y'all
that.
since y'all were one off there, one of you's one closer. And y'all were actually both right in the ballpark. 878 is what Timothy rated. So Brodie was 10 off, Trevor was 11 off.
We're
So
kinda killing
Brodie
this.
cuts it to 3. Brodie cuts it to 3 difference here. All right, let's get this
That's
next
crazy.
one up
We were
here.
so
I hope
close.
that guy sends a video next week of him like dunking a basketball,
Yeah.
hitting a home run.
He's just like an
running a
MLB
4-minute
player.
mile.
Go for it.
Like
Listen,
100
my
kilometer
reasoning
slap
led me to my
shot.
guess, which ended up being pretty accurate.
This guy's
All right.
flexible.
Here we go. Here's the next
This
putt.
guy's
that's a
wearing
good stance.
way too tight of shorts right now. These shorts are
No, I
very
respect
uncomfortably
it.
tight.
Ooh, that's a good looking putt.
I
All right,
also
To be clear,
like
I said
that he
putt.
okay.
To be
he
clear,
did-
I said putt.
he also did not celebrate,
this
which
is
leads me to believe like this. He knew that was.
This is Dylan
Doesn't-
Bosworth of Mesa, Arizona. Member since 2021, 68 career events, 5 career wins. Trevor will text me
Yeah.
first.
What course
plays
is
a little
this?
bit.
I want a course like this in my backyard. It's like in a neighborhood. Or do we
All right,
think
I
there's like
locked
a
in.
temporary? Does this feel like a golf course with the fencing there?
It looks like it does look like a
No.
temp basket. I can't tell.
Like
That's
temp?
not temp.
You
That's
think this is
permanent.
like? You think this is a park?
Or is it temp?
I don't
I
know.
can't tell if there's a base under it or not. All right, Trevor's locked in. Brodie, walk us through your thoughts.
All right. Well, first off, very interesting putt to send in because it wasn't your standard putt. It's actually like a little bit of a challenging putt because
You don't know if this is a standard putt or not.
True.
It could just
I
be.
mean, if he putts like this, no matter what, that would be insane. But yeah, I mean, I think you have to be pretty decent putter to actually putt like that. So, I mean, what would be wild is if someone actually sent in a miss putt. That would be actually pretty interesting to see. Arizona ratings out there are normally pretty good for most of the courses. So I'm going to take that into account and probably add an extra 15 to what I would have already said. And I go 945.
945 for Brodie.
Wow, that's low.
Where'd you go?
Trevor
Quite a
went
bit higher than that.
975.
Okay.
I think he looks like this guy could be a pretty legit pro.
Really?
So
Yeah,
His shorts are too tight.
doesn't matter.
y'all should have leaned into the shorts a little bit more because Dylan is 919. rated, meaning Brodie has taken the lead with gaining 30 points on Trevor there.
Tight
That
shorts,
really
man.
surprised me.
It's tight shorts.
Dylan Bosworth, 919. All right,
Good putt, though. It was a great putt.
Final one here. Final one. Don't know if this is how this guy actually putts, but I believe it. I believe it. Just wait for it. Yeah, so this is Pete Collins from Birmingham, Alabama. He's been a member since 1996. 11 career events, 4 career wins.
30 years?
4 for 11 is kind of wild, though.
That is wild. 11 career events since 1996. What was this guy doing?
That's tough.
Also, he
picks and chooses his battles, man. He's smart.
He has history in 1994, but that doesn't appear to be a part of his rating. I don't know. So yeah,
like when's the last time he competed?
There is a 2024. There is a 19-year gap from 2002 to 2021.
Okay,
that
explains it.
So I believe
it's Brodie's turn.
Brodie will text me first. Yes.
Okay. Wait, so he has one rated round. We're going off of the one round he played.
11.
11 career events. He's played in 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. He took a 20-year gap.
I know, but how many tournaments does he have under his rating right now?
I can tell you that. Give me a second.
Is it just one tournament?
There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rounds are counted towards his rating.
9 rounds
across.
Oh my gosh,
4
that's
tournaments.
9 more than me.
Across 4 tournaments.
Playing in the woods, feels good about his forehand. I think this guy.
This could be a big separator.
Yeah, this is a no man's land here. I don't like that. I don't like that.
All right, Brodie is locked in. Trevor,
I'm gonna take a shot here. I think he's like, I'm getting the vibe he's real confident in the forehand. Like, this guy knows his way around the frisbee, and I don't think he's played enough to be super high rated, but I think he could still be up there decently. I'm gonna say 957.
957 for Trevor. Y'all are both right in the neck of the woods. Brodie came in at 960. Trevor came in at 957. Meaning,
what the heck?
There's no way Trevor can win. But it wouldn't matter anyways because Brodie was closer. Pete Collins, 968 rated.
Wow.
Okay.
Good for Pete. Pete's actually one of Robbie's good friends. He sent me remember the guy that sent me that disc, Trevor, for me to like give back to Robbie? Like, Robbie lost a disc. He would not get back to him. He said that was Pete. He also is the one that sent us the microchip, I'm pretty sure, that we refused to put into any computer. And it turned out it was just like a
the scariest flash drive of all time.
Yeah, he mailed us a broken flash drive. No context. We just opened the envelope and there's just a broken flash drive in there. And we're like, all right, who's risking their computer to see what's on this thing?
We need some backstory. Pete, let us know, why did you not play a tournament for 20 years?
Yeah, we need to hear that. And I also want to know, are you actually a flick putter?
Surely not.
Look kind of dirty there, but I don't know. All right. We got a surprise here. We have a bonus round because there's this one player that sent me 3 of the wildest action pictures that I've seen. And these are legit. Like, he's actually playing here. And so I was like, you know what? We're going to go bonus round, 1 player. So this is how it's going to work. Trevor is currently behind by Trevor is in the lead by 4, cut to 3, 33, 36. So we're going to go double. We're going to give Trevor the option to have double points here on this one. So there's a chance for Trevor to come back with the bonus round here. So this is worth double points both ways. Here's picture number 1.
Is he wearing double gloves?
Here's picture number 1. So I gotta walk us through picture number 2. And here's picture number 3.
No.
Wait, this is the same guy?
It's the same guy. He sent all 3 in one email.
Wait, what did he throw in 3?
But he's wearing your jersey.
That's got to be a roller. There's got to be a roller in 3. 3 is the one that makes the most sense to me.
3 looks like he threw a forehand between his legs.
Maybe that happened too. I don't
Like
know.
he's leaning
The
back
hat
to throw it
falling off
between
is
his
so
legs.
funny
The
for
hat
some
falling off his
reason.
head was legendary. That's a great pick. We can
That's
go. What a timing. with
That would be my
picture.
profile picture for all times.
His profile picture is the one of him throwing the presumed roller. So this is Caleb Stewart out of Minneapolis, Minnesota.
That's
He's
a
a
wild
member.
toe drag.
That one's incredible.
That's a
Member
wild toe
since
drag.
2021, career events 23. We'll give who needs to text me? I think Trevor's got to text me to guess first.
Oh, dude, that is so funny. I need to see the full
picture
video.
selections, Caleb. Great picture selections, by the way.
Oh, let me guess here. All right, I guess.
His hand is pronated, is it not?
I can't tell.
Are we seeing his elbow?
Yeah.
Or not his elbow? Wait, is that his elbow?
Oh.
I
It
think
does kind of look like that.
I think his hand is
Oh.
pronated.
How did that happen?
Surely not. No, that's got to be the back of his elbow.
No, I think that's the
No,
Maybe-
'cause look at
maybe
his
he's double
shoulder.
jointed. Maybe he's double jointed and that's like hyper.
His
Look at
shoulder
the-
would
look-
be broken.
Look at the bottom. Does that not look like his hand is pointing towards us? That doesn't look like
Silas
his.
has the clearest picture, probably. Silas,
What are we looking at?
thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Yeah, that would have been something.
Okay.
I'd have been scared. He's got the swamp on, dude.
I thought his arm was completely rotated.
We'd have to be pretty worried about him. Wait, does this catch the green screen?
Oh, I
You
didn't
guys-
know we were using a green screen.
Who's using a green screen?
Well, you guys can see that, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like turning orange.
Green cup is orange.
We got to all wear green next week.
I'm wearing green. next
Wait.
week.
I can see your green disc in your background, Hunter.
That is.
Yeah, it's not that
Wait,
powerful.
let me just.
Wait, grab one of those things.
Put it in front of your face.
No,
it's
gotta be
it's
solid.
got to
It's
be
gotta be
more solid.
solid.
I mean, the cup I just held up is like the most perfect green screen color. Never. Oh,
There it is. Dial it in. It's the light has to hit it. Oh, okay,
Oh!
okay.
Oh! Oh! That's pretty
Nice.
cool.
I locked in my rating, Brodie.
Oh, I forgot we were doing that with this guy. I mean, this guy's mid 800s all day, right? I mean, this is
Could be.
eight.
Just dial it.
This is like 875.
Oh my gosh.
875 is Brodie's guess.
Almost my guess.
Trevor's guess was 872. So still impossible for Trevor to win. Unfortunately for him, Caleb Stewart is actually 897 rated,
Let's
almost
go.
at
Yeah.
900. Let's go,
All right.
Caleb. Dial it in.
What was he throwing that final shot? We gotta know.
We have to know.
I don't know.
You think that's a roller? Why
I
is he
think
up
a
on
roller.
his left
Has to
toe?
be a
I think a
roller.
backhand roller.
Why is he up
Some
on
kind
his
of-
left toe? You roll on your heel.
He's just trying to really lean back.
He's trying to
man.
make sure he gets into it.
No, but if you go on your toe, you go forward.
It's
Your
true.
heel, you go back. You lean on your you.
Maybe he's throwing a massive Anheuser, so he's like throwing
Whatever
it up
he's
in the
throwing,
air.
you haven't figured out how to throw it yet.
Yeah, he's throwing
new
it. It's an
shot.
advanced
He's
technique.
doing something advanced for sure.
Maybe it's like a spike Anheuser. He's like throwing a tilt really high,
Could
Just-
be.
yanking it up there.
Could be.
Oh,
Uh,
that's a great. Those were great photos right there.
yeah,
That was
when
really
I saw
fun.
that email, I was like, "Oh, I've got to throw these in. I can't leave these out."
Classic.
For this, so we have a topic here that when I initially read it, I was just gonna kind of skip it because I didn't really know if we'd have opinions, but it's mainly focused on pace of play. So I was like, you know what, Brodie might have some opinions here. So I'll read the question and then I'll read the story behind why he's asking this question. So his question is, should there be a rating minimum for certain divisions when pools are playing separate layouts? I asked this because of a tournament where I played MA1 in the summer in the South. This tournament was a 3-round tee time event that was played on 2 courses. Being MA1, we were grouped with MPO to play the gold layout for both of these courses. So the course we played once was 18 holes totaling 9,600 feet, whereas the course we played twice was 18 holes eclipsing 11,000 feet, with a large amount of elevation in OB. For obvious reason, the lower divisions did not play this layout and played a much shorter layout, more appropriate for the same course. Now, here comes the issue. MA1 had an 804 rated individual sign up. This individual proceeded to shoot the worst round all 3 rounds by 6, 6, and 13 strokes, respectively. The gap between him and the hot round on the final day was 31 strokes. I say all of this because it's obvious this individual was taking much longer than most individuals in the field to play the course. And with him being in last place, this also meant he was on the first card out on days 2 and 3, ensuring that every card, MA1 and MPO, would be backed up for the remainder of the day. For some additional added context, normal practice rounds in this course already took 2.5 hours, and it was 100+ degrees all 3 days of the tournament.
Ugh.
In addition to this, the heat also led to several DNFs. So, should this individual be allowed to play MA1, or should they be forced to play in a lower division? He clearly had zero chance to win the event and significantly worsened the experience for all the fellow competitors. Only benefit he truly experienced for playing up was getting to play a harder layout, as after round 1, he was placed on the last card with people who realistically weren't true MA1 players either. So the courses are public, and he can just play them another time without holding up an entire tournament.
I think that I don't have a problem with there being like a ratings minimum to get into a certain division. That makes perfect sense to me. The only thing is that could create some tournament director nightmares if you have like that one person in a certain division and you're trying to like move them up just for the sake of, isn't that a thing?
It can be moving them up or down.
Right.
Also, the rating
also,
caps are nightmares because sometimes like a player will sign up and he's whatever rated, 804 rated, and then by the tournament happens, he's now should be in a different division. That also
it wouldn't be a
happens.
nightmare though if it just counted from the time they signed up and then like that's just how it is, because like I wouldn't have a huge problem with that, but you'd need a system for it. But
it is something that happens quite frequently at local tournaments, but I don't know if there's a great solution. The only solution I thought of was just like more like tiered registration for longer periods, where you just make sure every 950 plus rated player that could play MA1 is in MA1.
Well,
and then at that point, if it's not full, then if an 804 guy gets in, he gets in.
Well, here's the thing about disc golf too. That floor only really matters to a certain point, because once you get to like 920, 930 rated, you're going to be competent enough to get around most courses found at local tournaments. And like if a 945 guy wants to play MA or MPO, they should be able to, because they might even be able to compete on their best day. So like the hardest thing would be spacing it out, because if you did it correctly, let's say you make the cap for like you have to be at least 900 to play MA1. Well, you shouldn't have to be 950 to get to MPO. Like it would be really weird, the spacing of it all, because the difference between a 850 player and a 900 player is severe. The difference between a 950 and a 1,000, I think, is less. I could be a little off there, but I think that difference is less there.
Yeah, especially when it comes to pace of play. Like,
right. It's just because you just can't do certain things when you're an 850 player.
If I were to like go out and play a bunch of tournaments to get my rating dialed in, I'd probably be like 940, 950 if I had to guess, somewhere in that range, maybe 960, but I'm in the mid 900s. But I feel like if I'm going and playing a practice round with like Brodie and Ezra, I'm not holding them up per se. Not to an extent of like an 800 rated player at a Pro Tour course, because like I can at least make disc selections and stuff where like.
And most of the strokes you and I lose are on the putting green. That's not holding up around very much.
It's also true. Yeah. Versus if you take an 800 rated player out to New London, it's just going to take a long time. No way around.
Scramble City.
Yeah. But I don't know if there's a fix. It's local tournaments. I don't know. You have any thoughts, Brodie?
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing that disc golf has a very challenging task to do when it comes to pace of play is the actual course design itself. If you're playing in a course that is pretty straightforward, and let's say it is long, but let's say that there's no water, there's no trees, there's nothing really around it. Even if there is OB, bad players can still get through the course pretty quickly. It's when you start adding in forced carries, when you start adding in water, where players are now trying to get their disc back out of the water, when you add in the scrambling, hitting gaps, a whole I'm trying to think of a hole that everyone knows pretty well. Let's do hole. I think Maple Hill is one of the more famous holes, famous courses. So let's do hole 16 at Maple Hill. The hole that Kevin Jones basically tore his ACL and ace. Right?
Hole is so hard.
If all four players throw their drive and they get past, there's basically two kind of tree allocations that you try to get past, tree groupings, if you will. If they get past the second grouping, that hole plays very quick. It's going to be a couple upshots, putts, and move on. If one or two people don't get past that second grouping, that hole can play almost as long as it takes the group that got through clean. So it's like there isn't that is the big issue with between disc golf and golf, is like there isn't a lot of times where golfers will play a hole extremely longer. It will take a lot more time because the amount of strokes they're taking on the hole. It's majority of the time because they just take a long time, right? They're giving themselves 3 minutes to try to figure out what shot to hit, and then they're giving us another 3 minutes on the next one. You never get to a hole where it's like, holy cow, that person just took an 8 and that took them forever to play. And disc golf, that can be the case because someone could throw a shot and then you got to try to find that shot. And then they throw another shot that hits a tree and ricochets. You got to try to find it. Can really spiral really quickly. Hole Northwood Black is also another good one.
Hole 12.
Hole 12. Like that hole, if you play that, if you throw a decent tee shot, that hole doesn't play that long to play. If you throw a tee shot that hits an early tree, you might play that hole in an extra 5 to 10 minutes, which
that's just disc golf. Like the entire thing in disc golf is getting off the tee. Like in golf, pretty much most of the time you're going to take all your
300 yards away. Yeah.
Well, all your strokes you're going to take right around the green most of the time. Like
I'm saying like everyone's going to hit their tee shot and it's going to be 300 yards down the fairway.
Exactly. Disc golf, like the difference is like you go to Independence Park, if you are getting off the tee that day, it's going to feel like a breeze because you're just like forward progress is the name of the game. But if you're not getting off the tee, every single hole is just like, because in disc golf, it's so easy for like one scramble shot turns into 3. Like it's not usually, most players too aren't just going to pitch out of the woods and then rip it down the fairway. Like they're going to spend 5 minutes looking for the most creative shot possible, hand up, and then rip it straight into a tree in front of them and then do it again.
Yeah. I played Maple Hill back with Luke Humphreys a couple years ago, and it was hole 3, the hole right before the very, very short hole. The really tiny where people like jump putt. Hole 3 is kind of like a flex backhand. And he got one of the worst kicks you could possibly get on that hole, where it kicked almost into the street, way left. And like we didn't see him for 5 minutes. Like he just came out and was like, I took a 6. And we're like, all right. And sure. He is through like 4 or 5 shots over there because there's nothing to do other than just chuck and hope. And so I mean, I don't know how you really fix that problem in disc golf, but that is
you can't, because that's where the difficulty is in disc golf is the tee shot.
That's going to be I mean, I think the only way of really fixing it is just doing Mandos, right? And so that way, if you miss the gap, you're not having to go. You advance and you just take strokes, and I don't know, and then that takes away the scrambling and people hate that, and
that's why
it's not really a win situation.
I say that's why people don't like it. But the only courses that are able to reverse the front half, back half difficulty are golf courses that use bunkers and slopes around the green, because those are the only courses where a lot of times the tee shots are just get it out there, but then your upshot, if you got to throw 300 feet into a pin where there's 2 bunkers and a giant slope behind it. Like that's the only disc golf I've ever really played where you get really tricky upshots, as opposed to like, okay, getting off the tee is where all the difficulty is. Once you get off the tee, you're basically guaranteed a par.
Do you think disc golf should be reversed for for pace of play purposes?
I think I'd like to see more of it. I'd like to see like a course is going to impress me more because I see less of it and because it takes more work if there's really well guarded baskets and creatively guarded baskets, rather than, okay, it's just a 5-foot gap off the tee. Like,
Yeah,
I think
that doesn't get me excited, but when I see an upshot that's like, ooh, there's some things to think about here, like, that's more exciting to me.
I think for pace of play, of course, because then you can
Well,
you just
sure.
you're walking is way faster than playing. So if you increase the walking from like, well, everyone's gonna throw off the tee, and the worst player on the card is gonna throw 350 feet down the fairway. We're all walking 350 feet versus when you flip that, and it's like, well, everyone's gonna get up and down from within 200 feet, but we got to get to 200 feet first. Then it's like, you got one person 10 feet off the tee going left, one, whatever.
Mhm.
I think it's a hard one because the only way we've accomplished it right now is on golf courses, it feels like, and that just optically doesn't look good or as good because like you're just on another sports property. But when
Yeah.
I've played it, it doesn't fully translate through camera, but when you play those courses, it's like disc golf I haven't played before
The
because
greens are also
you're
faster
so
because you got
stressed.
cut fairways.
You can be 150 feet out and you're just stressed. Not like before, if I'm in the woods, I'm 150 feet out and I'm just like, put this within 25 feet, try to make a putt. Now I have to think of, I need to make sure I'm missing short left and like stuff like that. Like if I attack this basket too much, I'm going OB or I'm worried about a hazard or whatever. But it just doesn't come through the camera because that difficulty doesn't translate the same. I don't think.
Yeah, it's hard to do that in the woods
Really
because
hard. Yeah.
of the tree kicks.
Well,
And
the only thing you can do in the woods to really protect baskets are use like natural growth, and the players hate that.
yeah.
Like, oh, there's a tree in my circle.
I
That's
actually
ridiculous.
I don't hate that, but when you start adding in like hazards or OB really close to baskets in the woods, that's where you get like a
The
good
random.
shot. All of a sudden, like one of the holes that really always kind of like, to be quite frank, pisses me off is hole 4 at Waco. So the first hole you get into the woods at
Yeah.
Waco,
You have that OB right
that
behind it.
that green, yeah, that green, it's like 5 feet behind the basket is just a cliff, right?
Mhm.
And some discs that fly into those greens will like hit one of those roots by the basket and like flip up and roll and then just roll down. And it's like it is kind of fluky for a lot of shots going into
Mhm.
that green. Where if that's like on a golf course and it's perfectly manicured, there's no roots or anything like that. If you throw a good shot's going to be by the basket. If you throw a bad shot, it's going to be in the water. I don't know. People like the flukiness though too, which I think there's a lot of things in disc golf that we might not be the majority, hence why disc golf isn't as popular as the other sports that have the majority. So that might be something to think about, maybe.
Something about. I
'Cause
think the people like the flukiness because they like the result it gives without realizing that you can achieve that result with other course design, if that makes sense.
Do you
Like
think
they
the
like
majority
the
of disc golfers like the flukiness?
I'm saying the people who do like the flukiness, I think like it because
But
it's
is
like
that the
you
majority
don't
of
know what's
disc
going to
golfers?
happen. I don't know if it's the majority. They wouldn't say they like flukiness. No. But if you got like if you started describing like what you just said, and then they would get upset at being like, well, it shouldn't be perfectly manicured. I like playing in the woods. I like
Yeah.
whatever. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But
Yeah.
the because what it is exciting about it is like when Gannon Burr's throwing an upshot, even if it looks like he executes perfectly because he's a robot, you don't know what the result's going to be. But what's frustrating is, well, now he's going to execute it perfectly and he's going to be OB. Someone else on his card is going to saw it off, take a tree, drop, and because they didn't hit a root, they're parked. And it's like, well,
Yeah,
one
it's
guy
kinda
threw a
like,
really bad shot, one guy threw a really good shot, yet the bad one's parked.
like the Robert Burridge playoff hole with Simon,
Yeah.
where he just got absolutely boned. And it's like,
Yeah.
probably shouldn't have a stump there.
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of it also, too, I think course designers and people know that and would want it gone if they had control.
Yeah, because essentially the idea, this is the crazy idea. Let's just make 2 foot wide circles, 2 diameter circles randomly in circle 2. And if your disc lands inside those circles, you're OB. That's essentially like what a lot of courses are like.
Yeah.
If you think about it that way, that sounds ridiculous. And no one would ever want that. but that's how a lot of courses are designed or played, of where it's like, sorry, brother, that sucks.
Better not hit there. Yeah. Well, okay. I don't know if we answered the question, but we
I don't know. We talked about stuff. We talked about stuff.
So let's get to our final story. This one comes from Addison Coleman. And he said he's going to try to make it as short as he could, but this is the worst disc golf experience of his life.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. So several years ago, first off, shout out to Addison Coleman. He was 2023 Heiser Club champion. So fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So several years ago, I was in my hometown, Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I went to go play the local doubles one night. It was my first year playing and the first time I went to this doubles in Chattanooga. I was in the B pool and got paired with this older guy who seemed kind of cocky. The round was going great until we caught up to two couples playing together. They were taking their time and having fun, but my partner started to get annoyed. After a couple holes, we caught up to them on the next tee pad, and my partner started asking if we could play through in a very aggressive way, which led to one of the guys eventually saying no. After they go back and forth for about a minute, he said fine. So we all threw and played on. After this, there was a little tension, but that's not where it starts. We then came up to two families with at least 3 or 4 young kids under 10 playing. They were taking their time, and we caught up to them when they were about halfway down the fairway. My partner then proceeded to yell up to them and asked if we could play through, and the dad initially said no, they'll let us play through on the next tee. My partner started saying more stuff to them, like we were playing in a legit tournament, and they reluctantly said sure, and got everyone to the side in the woods and let us throw. Everyone threw good shots down the fairway until my partner, he was the last one to throw, and he shanked it 5 to 10 feet over the family's heads and hit a bunch of trees. Thankfully, no one was hit, but on our way up the fairway, the mom starts getting heated and yelling at my teammate, and they start going back and forth. At this point, it seemed like a fight was about to break out. I honestly was just about to leave, and the husband broke it up, and they got their kids and just left the park mid-round. We play on, but that's still not the end. We get to the inner holes, which are like the alternate short holes that's not really a part of the course, and start playing those. While we're playing those holes, the two couples from before passed us because they were just playing the normal loop. We catch up to them in a couple holes on a blind shot. We knew they were up there, so we waited. Several minutes went by and we didn't hear anyone. So I walked a little ways up and I didn't see anyone. I was first on the tee, so I threw my brand new Get Freaky zone and absolutely parked it. I walked back to the tee and felt like I heard some yelling, but it sounded like it was off in the distance. About 20 seconds later, we see the couple that was in the argument before start walking off the course of the parking lot, pulling their child in a wagon holding something green. Everyone else threw and we get up to the basket and I can't find my disc. I then realized that the couple probably just stole my disc, so I run up to the next hole because the other couple was still there, and I asked what happened. They said my disc apparently hit the wagon that the kid was in. They got ticked off and took my disc and left. I felt terrible, but I was also upset that my disc got stolen, so we finished the round. My team cashed and got $20 each.
Nice.
But my partner only gave me $10 and tried to play it off like I didn't notice. So I told the guy running doubles. He told me to take care of it. With that being said, I never went back and played doubles there again.
What the heck? Sounds like the guy you're playing was the worst dude ever.
Yeah, Addison Coleman's partner was brutal.
Was his partner Jordan Castro?
Bro, it's one thing making enemies with everybody on the course, but taking money like right in front of your doubles partner
from your partner that helped you win the $20.
Crazy. Yeah. That is a bad day. I think I'd have quit the sport.
Do you think you always should split 50-50 no matter what?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're playing doubles,
you sign up for.
Because
unless you make an agreement beforehand of like, hey, however many shots we take of each other's.
What about an ace?
Well, ace pot you don't split.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't split.
Well, unless multiple people hit the ace, but
yeah,
okay.
No, but for a lot of times the reason I wouldn't expect
anybody to split the ace pot.
The reason I threw the ace is because I got another guy behind me, or someone's already parked it, so now I get the ace run or whatever.
But I could also see there being a situation where I agree with my partner to split it.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you guys have played more. I haven't played that many doubles, so I didn't know if there was ever a time where at the end, if you're like, kind of took every single one of my shots. So,
well,
if there was ever those kind of weird things where it's like, I should probably get.
You get the random draw doubles, which that's obviously. It is what it is, but then there's also the skills-based doubles, and those it's kind of set up where if you show up and you're a good player, you're gonna take every one of your shots because you're just gonna get paired with the worst guy there.
Yeah,
and that's just nature of the game. I played a decent bit of doubles, but I haven't cashed much, so I don't have much to say when it comes to how you split it. A lot of times, our doubles was a lot of times at Peaksview Park doubles and the weekly singles league I used to play. and both of those, like, everyone was in it because Peaks View Shorts, everyone and their mom can birdie every hole. So it didn't matter. Skill did not matter. You just went out there and some random MA2 player was going to pop off for a 15 under. And it was just going to be like, well, that guy won this week.
I still want to do that game where it's like we're all playing. If we birdie the hole, like every birdie that you get on the hole adds money to the pot. Every par adds money to the pot. Bogey takes away money. Double takes away money. And then after like 2 holes, you vote someone off basically. And you keep going until there's only 3 of you at the end. And then you have to decide who takes home the most money, middle and last money. Yeah. And you have to all agree. I still want to do that game. I think that game would be really fun.
How many people would you have to start with? Like,
I think you'd
8?
start with like, I think you start with like 5. You start with like 5 people. So you play like 2 holes, vote someone out, play 2 more holes, vote someone out, play 2 more, play 2 more holes. And then you're down and so you've played 6 holes. And if like, a birdie says like $25, you're playing 2 holes with 8 people. So if like half the people birdie, I mean, you could make a pot.
You're
with
saying each like individual score.
You play individual. Yeah. So if like all 8 of you birdie the first hole, or sorry, all 5 of you birdie the first hole, you just put $125 into your pot.
Yeah.
So it's like a mixture of like weakest link combined with that one game we've talked about. I think that would be such a fun. See, but I think for that video to work, I think it can't be like us playing it.
No, you gotta have some cutthroat.
It's gotta be people that don't know each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you got out there, it'd be pretty quick of like someone would say, because the money goes down, doesn't it? Like as soon as you start negotiating it like starts at $1,000 and you have 60 seconds. And by the end of 60 seconds, it's down to zero.
Yeah.
So you got to decide or else the money's just gone. So it's like, if we all agree at 50 seconds, there's going to be $800 left. But then Trevor's trying to steal $700. And I'm like, Trevor, that's not fair for you to get 700 and us to both get 50.
Yeah. Let me change what I said.
Wait.
I don't want to be in the video, but I want to be there for the filming. I want to be a producer.
Imagine we get the pot. So the pot's been decided based on what you said, Brodie.
The play.
And so let's say there ends up being $1,000. And basically there's 3 people left. And we tell the 3 people, you are going to put a disc like in your bag for each like increment of $100 that you think you deserve from the pot. But if all 3 of you overdraw, nobody gets anything.
Ooh.
So you have to be like, if you're like, I feel like I deserve 500, I deserve half of this for the birdies I made, and you put 5 putters in, but then if like some guy that didn't deserve it puts in too many, you overdrew it, and you get nothing.
See, I think that way would be the way to do it, like the nice way about it, right? Because like no one's having to like argue or talk about it. Everyone can just do it silently. I want to see the drama of someone being.
This is a game show, right?
Yeah, I want to see someone be like, "I think I deserve the most," and someone be like, "You didn't get a single birdie.
Yeah,
you do not deserve the most." I'm not going to.
My experience, most of the people in disc golf will just be like, "Well, let's just all split it." You know,
you want to just all split it 3 ways?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, lock in 3 ways.
Let's just lock it 3 ways. That's what's fair.
Well, you can't split it. Someone has to take home like 70.
Oh, like we pre-designate.
No. So how it works is whoever they thought did the best takes home like 70% of the pot.
Right. So we give them the percentages and then they.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the second, whoever did the second best takes home like 20%. Yeah. And the last place person takes home like 10. So like that's locked in. And so then basically what we would do is like,
they would say this. Well, guys, let's spin a disc and just decide.
Well, if that's the case, then we kind of have a lame show. But ideally, you hopefully get a little bit of the voting off would also be very interesting too. Because like, what do you do if you have 2 people that both like played equal? You have to vote someone off. Spicy. I gotta rewatch one of those episodes. I talk about it like every like month, and I haven't watched one yet.
Yeah, you showed me the clip from it that one time.
It's so good. It's just
that one girl got like all the
other.
questions right. And it's like, if I don't get the most, we're not taking. Then we're going with no money. That's fine.
She's like, I will take nothing.
Yeah,
I will bring you all down to 0.
That's the crazy part is whoever agrees to take. In our case, if it's 10%, whoever agrees to take 10%, by the time that decision's made, if it's like 30 seconds in,
It
they
might
be
be like a
thinking
couple
like
bucks.
$50 or $25 or something.
Yeah, no,
But
I'm
at that
going
point,
down
they're
with the
just like,
ship. If
they're
you
like,
if you
no,
put me
if
into
you're
the
just giving me,
10%,
you're just giving me $25, I'm taking nothing. Good, like
Yeah.
best of luck to you.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, okay, well, what if you take second? What if you take second? It's like, no, if I all or nothing.
That's
yeah, I'd
crazy.
get
I think if you get
contentious.
the right people, it could be because again, if you're only talking about like a couple $50, $20 here or there, but if like the difference between like first and last is like $500, I think a lot of people would fight for that.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah,
Probably.
you'd have to almost test it though before,
You got to have the
because
right people that
it would
really
suck to
believe.
it would suck to get to the very end and it just be like a wash.
Like,
Like you just
okay, you
watch this
get
whole
first, you
thing
get second, you get third. All
and
right,
it's just like,
cool.
okay.
Right. Because, like, if you put me, Hunter, and Connor in there, at the end of the day, we know that nobody's going to give. So we would just spin a disc because nobody else would decide otherwise.
So what we'd have to do is they also have
I think
other
Silas
things.
have to be in there because
They
I think
also
Silas could start throwing some elbows in there.
they
Like, I
also
just
have
wouldn't back
a
down.
they also have a thing that you can like each person has one of these that they can do during the show where they basically can just override. Because normally how it works is like everyone has to lock in on an answer, and then once everyone locks in, they see if the answer is right and they get points. So if you're like, I think it's A, and someone else is like, all right, A, that sounds fine. I have no idea. And someone else says, I think it's B, you're losing money per time, right?
Or you
So you're
answer.
so if you're just like, okay, this person sucks, you can just override and just select it. And the best is when someone overrides and they're
Gets it
wrong. And so like we got to have ways of like that of where we have a thing of where the person says, you know what? I'm overriding and I'm playing my shot for everyone. So like my score, no one else is playing this hole. My score counts for 8 or 5. My score counts 5x, you know?
You make a
Like,
bogey.
you got to do stuff like that where it's like you put people in positions to either really
Like become the enemy.
or become the hero.
Yeah.
And then other people can fight for it. I think there's something there. I think it'd be fun.
It always sounds fun, but it's all about the personalities.
Yeah,
And
it's all
it might just be you got to throw us all in a cage and let us fight it out, and it
Well,
just
I
makes it an
mean,
We
awkward
got to
car
find
ride
some
home.
psychopaths.
just guys, just look at the Disc Golf Pro Tour. It's got some of the biggest personalities I've ever seen in sports.
Behind the scenes,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. You know, although with that being said, if you get the right group of them and you put like $2,000 on the line and they're in this situation, the claws might come out. Maybe this is what we need.
Scrapping.
This might be what we need to bring the personalities out.
Hunter, we're literally playing for thousands, if not
But it's
tens
different.
of thousands
It's
of
different
dollars.
than like I have to go out and come in 10th place to earn money versus I've
But you're
earned the
still paying
money.
for
I
like
just have to be. But now I have to just argue of like you give me
Yeah.
$500.
I see that. It's definitely more short-term arguments, but we might see a little bit more cutthroat this year with the amount of people getting X'd by
Yeah.
their sponsors of where they're like, well, crap. It's not
Yeah.
like a one big happy family like all these cult leaders try to make me believe.
Yeah.
Those cult leaders.
I do wonder if like up to this point, a lot of money on the player side has obviously went to like you have Ricky at $1 million a year, you have Simon at $1 million a year, you have players like making tons of money, right? I wonder what the disc golf world would look like if a lot of that money like got flipped, where like that was the Maple Hill Open had like $800,000 added cash that year, and it like was more because what I saw someone have this take, and it is interesting of like disc golf in the current sphere, the power is just in the influencer's hand as far as like if you can move plastic, that's all that matters. So if you're someone who's really good on the course but you don't have a big personality or a big following, you're worth less than someone who comes in like 25th or like Simon who didn't play that many events this past year but has a huge following. And it's like it's not necessarily as much about what you can do on the course as it is just moving the needle, which then is just like, why are we even playing disc golf? Just sponsor a bunch of like YouTubers basically. Which is interesting to think of it that way. Because really the only way that on the course matters at the like high level is if you're dominant like Paul used to be or Kristen is or Gannon was this year. like that dominance sells. But beyond that, like if you just win a event here and there and you don't have a big personality, you don't have social media, then like you're not moving the needle.
True.
Well, it all comes down to the fact that there's way more people that are like casual viewers
Yeah.
than people that are watching live, like in person, or watching live broadcast, right? And so it is someone like a Simon is going to actually touch more people, like when it comes to his marketing and whatnot, than someone that's on a league card at a Disc Golf Pro Tour event.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Which is backwards, but that's just where it is. So yeah, I mean,
I think it's just how niche sports are. Because I'd imagine pickleball is probably similar.
It's not completely backwards though, because good golf has more followers than Patrick Cantlay. Like it doesn't always pan out that way.
Yeah, it's not backwards in other sports, Hunter.
But it is different. It's like, I wonder. I mean, because if you
like
go,
the professor has a lot more followers than most players in the NBA.
Yeah, but he doesn't make the same money from. But if Nike came to him and signed him to a Nike endorsement,
he would not be making no. Than an NBA player?
I don't know.
No,
not a like LeBron James or a starter, but like someone who's like 10th man on an NBA team with the professor.
What's the minimum? What's the minimum salary in the NBA? There's not that many people.
I'm saying like Nike endorsement.
You're saying Nike? Okay, so it's 1.1 million is the minimum.
A powerful YouTuber could be worth more to Nike than if we're going 12th man on an NBA roster.
Yes, if we're going Nike, but that's not what we're saying here, Hunter. We're not saying that. What we're saying is like a Patrick Cantlay was Trevor's example. Patrick Cantlay is making more money playing golf, winning golf tournaments than a big social media golf influencer.
Trevor was making the opposite argument, I thought.
No, I'm saying Cantlay's making more money, but he has less followers.
Yeah, because
even though he.
Yeah. You're saying Nike would, I would agree with you. Nike would pay the professor more money than some random guy.
I think that's where we are currently. Is the only way players are making money is from endorsements. So it is the Nike professor, and then you like the random guy is like the 30th best player. The purses just aren't big.
You don't have the ability of being someone that's super unmarkable and not likable and no one wants to buy your disc, but you're so good at disc golf it doesn't matter because you win all the time. I mean,
you could if you won all the time. If Gannon Bird didn't have
Ricky, those guys, but still,
it's only 200K versus now Gannon is able to get 200K on the course and who knows how much off the course.
Well, you also have to think about taxes. You have to think about how much it costs, roughly around $15,000 to $20,000 to play a full tour. So take that out. I mean, at the end of the day, again, I'm sure there's tons of people out there that would love to make $100,000 playing disc golf. I'm sure there is. But I think what you say is a good point, and it's a valid point. Something that should be probably talked about more is like, is professional disc golf more focused towards actual good play, or is it more focused towards selling plastic? And I think it's going to always be more focused towards selling plastic until there's other big hitters in the sport, which we've just, in the 5 years that I've been in it, I haven't seen anyone consistently promoting disc golf with their money.
The only way it gets flipped is if there's just outside money. Like if the LL Bean sponsorship, if like they ended up buying they were the like naming rights to the Pro Tour, the official sponsor of the Pro Tour, and you had like 7 of them, to where every week you're playing for the winners taking home 30 grand and second place. You know what I mean? Where it's like that's every single week, not just a few majors here and there. That's the only way it gets flipped on its head, because like right now, if you can't move plastic, you're not getting paid. Point blank. And so the best way to move plastic is just
that's not completely true. You can paid.
Yeah, we already talked about you can beat Gannon and get 200,000, but then
but I mean you can make a living just by winning tournaments for sure. But it's just
you can make a living just by winning local tournaments, going around local.
Not true.
Yeah, you can.
Not true. You're not going to easily make I'm saying you can make 30 to 40 grand on the Pro Tour if you're solid. If you're amazing,
you can
play
make
locally,
more. You can make more of that locally.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Find me an
Yes.
example. 30 or 40 grand?
You can make $1,000 to $2,000 a week if you're constantly going out and playing tournaments. Yes,
Yeah.
If you win a B tier or higher like every weekend.
No, you're forgetting weeklies. There's people who are playing like 60 tournaments a year.
Yeah, Trevor, there's people that
Find me a
literally are doing
find me
this.
a player who
60
didn't play any pro tours and made above 30 grand last year. Find me a player.
Last year might be tough because a lot of them are on the tour. But like, I mean, there's got to be examples previously. I mean, what was Chris Dickerson doing back when he would like go to like one tour event?
30 grand? No pro tour winnings counted.
Let's look
or
at
national
Dickerson.
tour.
Like, what was the year Dickerson?
It'd been like 2018.
Was it like 18?
Somewhere around there. Because he was playing on the tour. I just don't think so.
Freddie Meza played 61 events this past year and made $28,400.
Did he make any at a pro tour?
Let's see here.
Gotta subtract that.
Okay, so
Dickerson in 2018 made about 30. It looks like 30 grand if you take out pro tour money.
All local. All and that's like probably one of the greatest local players ever, though.
That was also only playing 48 events.
27.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
I'm saying that's not a lot in the scope of like there's guys out there playing 72 events.
I'd probably say Freddie made over 20,000 plus.
Okay, my point was making 30 to 40 just playing locally. You have to be an insanely good disc golfer and play a lot of events.
But you'll bring home more than if you went on tour and made 55 because you're home. You don't have the touring costs.
Yeah. Have other jobs and stuff like that.
Because like Chris Dickerson in 2018 made a total of $37,000, and he went out on tour. He played the Jonesboro Open. He played Ledgestone, MVP, Worlds, USDGC, and made 37 grand. Versus last year, he fully toured and made 39 grand.
Yeah, but
I think that's also
he only played 25 events this year.
Yeah,
but
Chris Dickerson's also like even at that time was a insanely good disc golfer, a guy who could beat just about anybody.
But I think what this is really showing us is there's not that big of a gap between a local pro and a touring pro, as far as earnings potential from tournaments as compared to in other sports is what I'm saying.
Well, yes, yeah, absolutely.
The gap is not as exponentially massive as it would be in other sports.
Yeah, of course.
Like you can make there's A tiers that you can make a handful of $1,000.
Well, we can look at it right here. We have Chris Dickerson won Tennessee States, which was just an A tier this year, made $1,700. The previous weekend he came in 7th at the DDO and made $1,700.
Yeah, which is like
it's obviously not the same as winning the DDO, but like
that's crazy.
The DDO is really hard.
That's what I'm saying. 7th at
that's
DDO
crazy.
is probably harder than winning an A tier at Tennessee State's, I would imagine.
Oh yeah.
Because let's see who's at this A tier. Tennessee State's Chris Dickerson to win this had to beat
that should be like 10x. Like that needs to be like 1,700 for Tennessee State's. 17,000 for 7th.
To be fair though, the drop off is kind of severe though. Like if you take, a few places up at that DDO and you go up thousands of dollars.
Dickerson had to beat Grady Shue, Joey Lutz, Harper Thompson, all Omen at Tennessee State.
Yeah, no, in the local scene, if you can win in the local scene, not come in seconds and thirds, if you win a lot, then you will make good money. But you have to win those tournaments. Like Chris Dickerson won a lot.
Yeah,
because the drop offs are bad.
Yeah,
like,
if you get second and third, you're probably you're dropping off 50%.
Yeah,
so
you're going from $30,000 to $15,000 real quick.
Mm-hmm.
The winner of DDO, Calvin, took home $9,500. Second took home $5,700. Third took home $3,500. Fourth took home $2,700. Fifth took home $2,100. So
$400 more for 5th place.
If you're factoring in. If you're factoring in winning,
that's what I'm saying, man.
Not a good purse.
It is crazy.
$75,000 purse.
It is crazy that these players are making 7 figures and then they're going out and playing for 4 figures at tournaments.
Well, and obviously the reason being, like
you mentioned, have less
$75,000 purse because they have to pay out last cash $500 so they can make the next tour stop.
The reason
should we have less tournaments, bigger purses?
Well, it's a catch-22.
10 tournaments. Every tournament's $1 million purse.
It's a weird one because The other thing that's tough with the Pro Tour you have to think about is like how much I can't see it anymore, but like so much of this purse is made up because players are paying like $300 to play this event.
I think it's about 40. It's anywhere around 40 to 55% of the purses are players' money.
Yeah.
Or sponsors' money, however you want to view it. It's coming from each player. Because like I don't even like the whole like, oh well, the sponsor's paying for it. If the sponsor wasn't paying for it, that money would be going to your pocket.
Yeah.
What? Like it's not just like if all of a sudden if the tour just said, hey, you know what? Let's say I was making $1 million, but the company was paying for all my tournaments, right? If all of a sudden the Disc Golf Pro Tour said, hey, if you have a tour card, guess what? You get to sign up for free. I'm not going back and like you don't think I'm gonna renegotiate and be like, no, you owe me like $1 million and 15,000 now? Like I'm getting that money because you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So like if the sponsors aren't paying for it should still go. It's coming out of the player's pocket.
Yeah.
Whether you want to look at it that way or not, it is.
It's true.
Interesting space, interesting place. We'll see what happens over the next few years. But that's this episode of the off season. Don't forget to check the link in the description down below if you want to submit your own story or topic. And if you want to submit a picture of yourself throwing or a video of yourself throwing or anything like that, email it over to hunter@foundationdisc.com and you might see yourself on the next episode.
Let's do someone sent in a video of their roller.
Roller video.
Yeah, roller video. Let's see what roller videos next week.
Roller videos next week. That's the call. We'll see him then. Talk to you next week.